therapist is asking you to do what? Exposure therapy? Exposure therapy has a few different meanings, lots of misunderstanding, and so quickly today I'm going to talk about the difference between just challenging yourself when something's nasty and understanding the nuance between getting better. This is Fighting Fear with Kevin Ashworth. I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching the video. We're going to talk about exposure therapy today, but ultimately you can call it whatever you want, but we're going to talk about how do you overcome these awful feelings of distress and anxiety when you're experiencing them. How do you make decisions throughout your day to not accommodate your distress? And basically, how do you not live by being told what to do by the anxiety bully? So very, very quickly, if you've never heard of exposure therapy, maybe check out some of my other videos where I talk about ERP. It's the gold standard treatment for anxiety disorders, particularly obsessive-compulsive disorder. We know it's very, very effective. And it is, in a very basic form, moving towards the things that are scary, but we know why. From a very biological foundation, our body reacts when we're in fear, or the perception of fear, and so our fight or flight system kicks on. Exposure therapy is about helping the brain understand that even though it feels very afraid, it's not actually in danger. And that's why it's very effective, because it allows that fight or flight system to actually turn off or decrease. Another system comes on called the parasympathetic nervous system. And we repeat that over and over and over, and now we make a new connection or conditioned response to the feared stimuli, whatever that might be. Based on that, think about that for a second. Pause here if you need to churn through that or listen to that again. And then think about how you make decisions when you're afraid. If you're like most of us, you run away. And by that I mean you likely avoid, or you make decisions to not put yourself in situations that you anticipate will be scary. That doesn't make you weird or strange, that just makes you human. Your brain is working the way it's supposed to. With anxiety disorders, the difference is that that becomes problematic, that your brain is telling you to be afraid of lots of things when there's no evidence that bad things are happening. And then obviously the consequence of that is that you're not living the life that you want to live. You're not spending the time with the friends, or you're not applying for the job, or going to the mall, or playing video, whatever it is that you're not doing, walking your dog. If it's a decision based on anxiety, I would say that that's a problem. What many new clinicians that are learning exposure therapy don't grasp right away, and certainly what lots of clients don't understand, that it's not just doing something that's scary. Many people will say, I'm afraid of public speaking, but I've been public speaking for 10 years. If I was better, or if exposure therapy worked, why wouldn't I be better? And I've had people say to me, I'm an actor, I perform all the time, I'm terrified, I have panic attacks. If exposure therapy worked, why wouldn't I be getting better? And the examples persist, right? My kid still goes to school, but he's scared every single night. Why is he not getting better if exposure is supposed to be effective? So it's this idea of white knuckling it, or this principle of being vulnerable when you're engaging in something distressing. And so when you are put in the presence of something that's scary, and you just hold on and you hope so much that it'll go away, it'll go away, it'll go away. And when it ends, it's over. You believe that you survived that because, one, probably a fluke. Two, you're just lucky that you made it out that time. So think about going on a roller coaster, and you're terrified of roller coasters. You know it's only going to last a couple of minutes, and you close your eyes and you clench your fists, and eventually the ride will stop. That doesn't necessarily mean that your body's not going to respond that way every single time. In fact, it will. What you're also doing is you're creating a relationship between this response, this feared response, and the thing that you're doing. And so if that's going to Fred Meyer to get groceries, and the whole time you're walking around white knuckling it, so to speak, telling yourself, only 5 more things to get, and then I'll be out of the store. I'm at the back of the store, but I know there's an exit. I can get out whenever I want. I can just leave my stuff here and leave whenever I want. And you manage the grocery shop, but the next time it's gonna be just as scary. That's not exposure therapy. Yes, you're challenging yourself, but you're not doing it in a vulnerable state. What do I mean by that? For exposure to work, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be open to the experience that you're going to feel anxious, and you have to be okay with that. And that takes a lot of practice, and that's why therapy is really important, and people that specialize in exposure is really important, because there's a lot of nuance to help people practice to being vulnerable, and it's a step-by-step approach. And so using the example of going into a store, you may do that It would be much more effective for someone just to get to the front of the store and then we leave, and that's their first session or their first 10 sessions if that's what it takes. But they do that without this white knuckle experience, that their body knows that if they can stay out there for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute and a half, whatever it is, that nothing bad will actually happen. And then we move into the store to the furthest aisle, to the bakery, which is usually at the back, and then we spend more and more time. So I hope you get the gist. Getting over anxiety, whether that's an obsessive intrusive thought, fear of panic, social anxiety, constant worry, is about making 100 different decisions a day, if not more. And what you know if you live with anxiety, that if I start feeling distress, it might not be a huge behavior like getting up and leaving the room that is evident to everybody else that I'm dealing with anxiety. But it could just be a shift in my posture. I might just open or change my legs, and that might be giving in to my anxiety. And we have to be aware of that. And if I reach and just take a piece of gum or turn up the music or down the music or crack the window or roll up the window, all based on my comfort, those are all decisions that likely are giving in to anxiety. And so part of being in therapy is really having a systematic approach of understanding all these behaviors that likely contribute to your distress and helping you reduce those over time. That is different than traditional talk therapy. That has its place, but talk therapy is not effective or very much less effective for anxiety disorders, so when you're impaired by your anxiety. Because with very good intention, people are trying to offer coping skills for you to get better. They're kind of asking you to white knuckle it and hoping that you'll just feel better, but there's no research to support that that's effective. I hope this makes sense. It's a lot of information packed in a few minutes. If you have any questions, you can email me, kevin@nwanxiety.com. You can check out our website, northwestnwanxiety.com or Northwest Anxiety, our Facebook page, and also please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you obviously can comment here on the channel as well. So hope you guys have a great day. Do something today that is scary. Be vulnerable. Sit. If you usually don't sit with silence for less than a second, or you can't feel distress for less than 4 seconds, try and extend that today. That's the goal, okay? That adds up every single day, and if you make plans to do that over time, your anxiety won't be pushing you around. Have a great week, and I'll do another video soon. Thanks.